My cheating wife who stole my money and left me for her internet lover is livid now, 'cause I won't take her back. Her lover turned out to be a scammer. Karma hit hard. I found out my wife has been sending several $100 payments out to someone a couple of times a week. I don't have any information about this person and am worried that it might be an affair. I don't know what it could be since she doesn't usually like expensive things. We've been having a rough patch over a fundamental disagreement that we have for kind of a while. It all started 2 years ago when my older brother passed from lung cancer. My mom has always been very insistent to us that she wanted grandchildren, so my brother and I have always kind of had that in our minds. He never had the chance since he went before him and his wife could conceive. When he passed, I sort of had a coming-of-age moment where I began to realize that I wanted children, not just for my mom but for myself as well. I really wanted a traditional family. I brought this up to my wife and I found out that she didn't want children, really didn't want them. I tried to find out why that was and she never really gave me a straight answer. It just wasn't in the cards for her. Well, I tried to get her to change her opinion to little success. I think she really was bothered by me anytime I even suggested that it might be nice or said a kid was cute when we saw one. We got into an argument, a big one that I still have regrets about to this day. She basically shut me down and told me to stop making remarks like that. I would have been okay with this, but she decided to make some comments about my brother and my mom that I just couldn't take. We got into a big shouting match where I said some things I shouldn't have. Ever since then, I think it's been a month now, my wife has been pretty distant. I've been trying to keep it together and keep our marriage intact, but I feel like she's just given up. We don't talk as much as we used to, and when we do, it's mostly short. I've suggested trips, vacations, fun things to do together, all nothing. I don't know what to do. 2 weeks ago, I left my debit card at home by accident. We have a shared bank account for big payments while having our own personal bank accounts for things like gas, food, etc. I decided to use our shared card since I had it on me, but the card declined. That was strange since I think I'm pretty good with money, and we hadn't made any large payments or had financial trouble since we were newlyweds. I looked into our account, and I found these purchases that I couldn't account for. At first they were pretty small in the $10 range, but they had been ramping up and one was just made for $400. I called my bank to see if someone had gotten access to the account and put it on hold. They held the account, but then told me that I can't dispute the charges since they were verified by the purchaser. Neither of our cards have been stolen, which means that my wife has to have been the one making the payments. I haven't confronted her about it yet, and I'm afraid of finding out what she's been doing. What do I do? Update. So it's been a little while since I posted this. I confronted my wife about her payments, and she finally decided to tell me that she's been having an online affair. As in, an affair but only on the internet. My wife tells me that recently she's been feeling that she feels so contained or restricted by her marriage, and that she decided to talk to some people just for fun, until eventually she met someone online who she really connects with and who really gets her. I still couldn't understand, and I started asking her what he did for her that I didn't, and she couldn't really understand what she was talking about. Other than it felt better to her, and that's just how it was. I just couldn't believe it. Everything happened so fast. I have no idea how things could change from us being a happy couple to her having an affair in such a short amount of time. When I asked her why she was sending him money, she began this very elaborate and convoluted story about what he was going through. The short version was that he was in a bad relationship as well, and that his wife had been mostly taking control of his finances. At first, it was small things like a little help with gas or food, but now it has spun completely out of control. The most recent thing is that he needed money to hire a divorce lawyer, and once that gets financed, he would be able to leave her, and that they would be able to be together. When I started to piece things together, I started asking simple questions and started poking holes in the story she gave me. I think when I started asking some things, why he needed money from her in particular, why he just happened to find her and be perfect for her, why he didn't just leave his wife earlier, some of the facade started falling away from her. She couldn't answer a lot of the things I was asking, and I could feel her getting frustrated by me questioning her. I asked her if she really felt our relationship was so bad, and she told me yes. I asked her if she was really in love with someone she had never met, and she started giving me a speech about true love. The answer was yes, so we ended it just like that. I told her I would get some paperwork to her, and that we would start separating as soon as we're able. She's been planning to just up and leave to another state as soon as he gives the okay anyway. She's in the process of moving out from my house and tells me she doesn't want anything but to be able to take the next step in her little fairy tale with some stranger that she's never met. Just like that, 7 years down the drain. Last update. The whole fairy tale thing went about as well as you could expect. I got a call from my ex-wife yesterday who was begging me for help and told me that if there was any love for her left in my heart, I would help her. As it turns out, the man who my wife was sending money to did not exist. Maybe he wasn't the guy who she thought he was, or maybe he never existed at all. I don't know. Now she's stranded far from home and has no money or place to stay. She begs me to take her back and to get a flight or at least a hotel for her so she's not sleeping in a car that night. I just told her that it was already over between us. She decided that best thing for her was not to start a family and have children, but to run off with a stranger on the internet and live happily ever after, because she wanted to live in some shitty romance book instead of real life. I'm not taking her back. She already told me that she was willing to ruin our relationship. I told her no, and reminded her about the money she owed me before hanging up. Next cheating story. My wife, 36, and I, 37, were together for a total of 6 years. 3 married. Through the relationship, we were best friends. We never fought, but we did compromise. Sex was initially amazing, then became routine. I would ask her about it and if she was happy, and she said yes. She always wanted the same positions, the same process, and we had sex once a week. There were no other obvious issues for our relationship, and her friends thought we were the model couple. We laughed, were affectionate, etc. 3 years into the marriage, completely out the blue, my wife began demonstrating signs of having an affair, secrecy, etc. All typical. I called her on it and she denied it. She said she was stressed out and then asked me whether I thought our love life lacked passion. At that moment, I knew for sure. I told her I thought it was lacking and wanted to work on that with her. A month later, after the signs continued, she admitted the affair, then moved out the next day with the other man. She knew him for 3 months, and they had only seen each other 3 times. He lives in another country. She relocated to another country, and it's been 9 months since. During the breakup, my wife would not talk to me or work on the marriage she had no interest in and wouldn't even tell me what was wrong. All I've ever gotten out of her was, I had doubts from the beginning, focused on the good things hoping those doubts would go away, and they never did. I wasn't really in love with you when we got married. I'm sorry I never communicated any of this to you. I see you more as a brother versus a husband. That's all I got. Fast forward 9 months after the breakup. Things are not going well with the other man. And now she's in another country with this guy. Recently, she started emailing me telling me she regrets everything, misses everything we had together, and wants to start talking with me. Obviously, this is all tied to that relationship not working out. I feel like a good enough leftover. I know she was infatuated with this guy, and I don't believe she wasn't in love with me for a second. Our marriage for the most part was awesome, so I don't know what to do. I've emailed her and laid out a plan of what she needs to do if she wants me back, and it's largely focused on her communicating, explaining everything, and proving that she understands why she did what she did, can actually explain what was wrong with our marriage, and that she's willing to build a plan to work on the issues together. I have dated. I'm struggling to find anyone I can connect with like I did her. I want her back, but I'm afraid of her unpredictability. When she left me, I did nothing wrong and she just turned on me like she wasn't even the same person. We had never had issues before, and it was devastating. I went through severe depression after the breakup, and I'm at least on my 2 feet now. I miss her dearly, but I don't know if I can truly trust her again. Am I making a mistake here? I could use some advice from people outside this situation. Alright, gosh dude, you know the answer to this dilemma in your gut. She got rejected by her first choice, and now she wants you back and is trying to sweet talk you. If you get back together, note that you'll always be her second choice. You deserve better than that, man. Don't do this to yourself. Finding someone is difficult, but so rewarding when you find the right person. Take the difficult road because at least then you'll know you won't be shitted on. And trust me, she will shit on you. The only reason to ever take her back is if she showed real and true remorse and moved the heavens and earth to show you that she's changed. Learn not to take you for granted, and will always do her utmost from now on to earn your trust. And frankly, she hasn't done any of that. In fact, if anything, she seems pouty and annoyed that you're not instantly letting her back into your life, like she's entitled to come back after a few sad emails. She isn't showing real remorse for her cruelty and betrayal. She's showing buyer's regret, now that her foreign lover boy turned out to be a big disappointment. There's no way you could ever trust her again, and honestly, it's all on her at this point. Good luck moving on in the future, my friend. You'll spend the rest of your life with her wondering when she'll stab you in the back next. Wondering if she's met yet another man she'll run off with. Wondering if she'll hurt you horribly yet again. You'll never again be able to feel the comfort and trust that is the hallmark of a good marriage, given how she deceived and betrayed your own trust previously. If you really, really want to try, insist on a trial period of marriage counseling first, before you really recommit yourself to the marriage. After all, she needs to prove she's really trying again, not just using you as a backup plan because her affair with the other man fizzled out. But honestly, if I were you, I would not allow her to resume the marriage. When you break your partner's trust so spectacularly, well, there's really no one breaking it.